Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Chronicles Dallas Cowboys football podcast. My name is Troy Hill, and today we're joined with Kyle and Ron, a.k.a. the Starstruck Fan. How are you guys doing today?
All is well. All is well.
Doing good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Good to hear. Another preseason game here over the weekend, and unfortunately, the Cowboys lost 22-14 against the Seattle Seahawks. What are your thoughts on the game overall, Ron?
Well, they had some injuries, unfortunately, that also happened within the game, some key injuries. And so, one thing you want to do is get through these games, as meaningless as they are from a winning perspective. You want to try to get these guys, one, you want them to execute. Number two, you want them to stay healthy. So, we kind of lost the battle on that with a couple of key guys that are looking pretty good at camp. But all in all, it was probably much the same that what we saw probably in that previous game. Good, decent showing by the defense. Still showing some vulnerabilities, in my opinion. I didn't see any read option out of Seattle. We didn't get to assess that, but I did see again crossing route looks like still. And I get it. It's not the starters that are out there, but still, even with the starters at times, it seemed like we just can't get it from that crossing route. And at times, it's usually that guy that's in the slot. And I don't know if we've locked in who's in that slot. Right now, I guess that's going to be Deron Bland. But I think this game still shows me that if we get past the first level of our starters in this year, I'm not sure what we exactly have in the second.
Yes, I actually, Ron, I don't think this performance was as good as the first week, but then again, it's preseason, so it's I guess whatever your perspective is on what a good game is. Unfortunately, we did end up losing two key players that were doing pretty well in practice and throughout camp. What are your thoughts on those players, Kyle, and what their impact could be in the future being out for the season? Because these are some key guys.
Yeah, I thought Overstone was going to be. I think for sure he was going to be rotating in the lineup. In the regular season for sure. It was going to be Clark and I think Van Der Esch. But I was hearing things from like Brian Broaddus and some of those guys that there were times where they are rotating and putting Van Der Esch more on the line, like in blitzing situations, and had Clark and Overstone playing linebacker just to mix things up. You know what I mean? Which I think is. We have not seen, and I think teams have not seen that. And I think that would throw a lot of teams off. You know what I mean? So it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that that he's they kind of have to scrap that now because now Van Der Esch and Clark got to play that more traditional linebacker spot, which is okay. But I mean, it would have been nice to see a wrinkle that way, because we don't know how we know how Dan Quinn's creative when it comes to defensive, doing different game plans. So that kind of does suck. And as far as losing John Stevens, yeah, he showed out that first preseason game, and I was kind of looking forward to seeing him, fighting for that maybe third or not third probably, but fourth tight end spot, practice squad, developing, and it just sucks that he's going to be spending the entire year rehabbing. It just kind of sucks, So.
Yes, I totally agree with that, and actually it brings up a great segue real quick. One of our listeners, actually we got an email. We did get a question this week and stuff, which is really, really cool and great. And if you guys are listening to the program, you do happen to have a question, don't hesitate to ask. You can send us an email at TSC, Dallas Cowboys Podcast @gmail.com. Again, that's TSC, Dallas Cowboys Podcast.com or at gmail.com. And actually, we have a question from Denise Williams. Now, this is not, she's out in Arizona. And this is not Denise Williams, let's hear it for the boys, which is kind of ironic, Denise being a Cowboy fan and stuff and everything. But her question was, what do you think the level of excitement is with our defense coordinator, Mr. Quinn, and the new toys he has to play with this season with the defense? Which has kind of changed. It's kind of changed a little bit with these two injuries, but he still should be excited, correct?
I think definitely. One thing this team has kind of prided itself on since Dan Quinn has been there is the depth, the quality of depth on this team. We've always seemed to be able to find a person to plug and play. And even given injuries, I don't think it's going there. I already see some things out there that the team is already planning on adjusting, that they're willing to take some of their safety depth and actually move it into some of those slots as far as linebacker. And one of the things that he has done since he's been here is we've got an influx of like what is it called flexible, versatile players. We have like versatile guys that just can play multiple positions, linebackers, be it strong safety, guys that safeties that can fill in at linebacker, guys that are linebackers that can fill in at pass rushing. So yeah, I think Quinn's not bothered by this.
Yeah, what's your thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, I think the injuries do throw in a little wrinkle, but like, you know what, like it's one of those things where like Starstruck was saying, like, and I actually heard that today, that with Overshown being down, that their plan B is Marquise Bell playing that position a little bit because he's a bigger safety. You know what I mean? So they did mention, I forget what podcast I was listening to. It was one of the Dallas podcasts. Maybe it was Nick Eatman or somebody talking about.
Chronicles?
Yeah, but it might have been the station 105.3. Might have been like Bobby Belt or something talking about Marquise Bell being able to kind of fill in for the Overshown role out there on certain downs, and distances, which makes sense.
6'3", 205.
Yep. I think there's a lot to be excited about, and I know I've said it for years. I've always hated the Dallas philosophy of we don't have any high regard for defensive tackle and safety. And look what that got us for like 15 years. You know what I mean? And now they finally put resources into those two positions, defensive tackle and safety.
Yes.
And I think, and look how good our defense is. You know what I mean? Like I always hated that philosophy. We just don't care about the safety. We'll throw any slappy back there at safety, and we'll just hope for the best.
You're 100% correct.
I'm so glad they finally have addressed it. There's depth. I mean, they gave out 3 contracts to safeties, you know what I mean, on this year. And when's the last time that's happened? You know what I mean? So
exactly.
It's just Jonathan Hankins. I mean, when they don't ever trade for guys mid-season and then extend them, you know what I mean? And then draft a defensive tackle. Like, it's refreshing to see new ideas come in, you know what I mean? Like, can't keep doing the same old Rod Marinelli crap, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, not to mention you got Gilmore, you drafted Miles.
Oh, that's what I meant to say that too. Yeah, I meant to say Gilmore. Yeah, that too. But like, I'm just talking about as far as being neglected for. I mean, Cowboys fans, we've been talking about safety since Darren Woodson retired. I mean, my God, that was what 2006. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, my God, we've been talking about it for so long, and he finally got it. Yeah,
And it's still, to me, it's comical even mentioning Darren Woods' name, recognizing the importance of that player, what he meant to our football team.
Yes.
The man is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
To me, that's just still a travesty.
Yeah. For sure.
But But anyways, that was a great question by Denise. We'd like to thank her for listening to our program, and I hope you continue listening. And please share with some friends if you enjoy our content. Okay, so again, talking about the injuries, does this make you want to tap the brakes? If you were the owner or coach of this team, would that make you want to tap the brakes on a Tolbert or a Deuce going into this final preseason game? Because me personally, I think I'm good with sitting both of them for this game.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I think so too. I've seen enough from Deuce to where I think he's probably, I don't know if he's, he might be RB2 in my opinion. Like I said, I didn't like when I saw when he's out there for every play for like 3 consecutive series. I don't think that's not his game. It's really not. You know what I mean? So, but I do love his change of pace style, and I don't want that. I don't need a high ankle sprain that's going to keep him out to week 4 or 5. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
And Tolbert has been balling, and I don't want, I wouldn't mind seeing his 2 games in on a high note and give him some much needed confidence going into week 1. I mean, I think he's wide receiver 4 right now. So, I mean, I'm cool with him.
Easily.
If he's not going to, I'm cool with, like I said, I don't want to see any of those 2 guys get hurt because they had really good preseasons. Let's be real here. They don't need to show anything else.
Tolbert was putting up damn. He was like T.O. out there. Well, not like down there like T.O., but the dude was making play after play. It's like Tolbert with another 8-9 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
What's your thoughts, Ron? Could you need to see any more from these two gentlemen?
We can't compare. Just we can't compare Hall of Famers. But I would like to throw it out there like maybe an Amari Cooper.
Lord.
He was like an Amari Cooper. He looked like an Amari Cooper, what we had in an Amari Cooper, but he's gone. So we'll let that ship sail. But I just had to throw that out there.
I know Tolbert looked like he was running. Looked like Tolbert was finishing his routes. But anyways,
anyway, but yes, as we were saying, I think you've got to, after what we've seen this past weekend, because you look at the injuries that happened, especially with Stevens. I believe he was just looked like he was running a route and got clipped, probably not on purpose, but his foot got tangled up with one that was coming, going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
You just don't want to risk a guy going out there and it just turns out to be something like that where it's an insignificant play. The guy's just making a cut on a route or something and he drops to the turf type of stuff in a week 3. Because I think this is it, if I'm not mistaken. They only have 3 season games this season. So, it's just not to me, it's not. I mean, what are you looking for if you put those guys in the game? Are you putting
exactly
win, or you're trying to evaluate? Because you're already pretty much saying these guys are going to have spots. So I don't think there's no reason to put them out there. Use that for guys that are still bubble, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I was going to say Dennis Houston. Who's the other guys? Simi Fehoko, Jalen Brooks. Yeah. Let those guys play because those guys are fighting for that last spot. You know what I mean? I don't need to see that. And when it comes to running back, they could give Hunter Lipke 35 handoffs. I could care less. You know what I mean? He's a fullback. He's probably not making the team anyways. Let Hunter Lipke play the whole game.
Yeah, but it's to me is just. I mean, I'm happy. We're all basically on board that CDs are 1, Cooks 2, Jesus. Yeah, Gallup's 3, Tolbert's 4. And then I'm not gonna be bold enough to put Deuce as a 2 behind Pollard. I probably would end up rolling between Davis and Waddle still at that 2
I think they all 4 make it. I think they all 4 running backs make it.
Like I was saying earlier off the show, I think this is the most depth we've ever had at the running back position.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and you don't want to get yourself into the trap of running any of these guys into the ground. We've learned our lesson.
Exactly.
We learned our lesson with Marion Barber. Thinking he could do more than what he could do. We've learned our lesson with Troy Hambrick back in the day, Mr. Average 6.5 yards a carry. With Emmett on the team, couldn't average a yard with when he was gone. So. I mean, I think we've crossed this road before. I don't think we need to look out at any other talent. And when it comes to the receiver and running back position, I would say to fans that are looking for additional people or demanding trades and stuff, that's the reason why you don't run a football team, because it would go bankrupt in 5 days.
Yeah, right.
I mean, what's your guys' thoughts? Is there anything else you think need to be done with this team to put us in position? Excluding there's a couple mistakes that were made. There was by another dreaded number 30, he made a mistake.
Stupid ass penalty. I mean, I was gonna say they had 2 penalties that extended drives that led to touchdowns.
Yeah,
one was
the first one was preventable. I don't think the second one. Williams one, the guy was pushed into the guy's leg, so that could have happened. You can't really avoid that one, I don't think.
That was questionable, but that taunting one, you weren't even on the play. What the hell are you doing, man? Come on, that was just dumb. They were getting off the field. You know what I mean? That was so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, we got tape of players from the last couple of seasons that's done stupid stuff like that and cost us football games. A couple of them are no longer with this team.
That led to a first down and led to a touchdown. Like that's
and changed the momentum.
Yeah, for sure.
Greer, did he do anything? Did he do enough to secure a spot on this football team practice squad or what have you, or you think that he could get cut and we might try and find somebody else for that? Because it's going to literally be a practice. He didn't do enough to get past Cooper Rush.
No.
But I feel that I don't know if he did enough to actually make the team or the practice squad. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I don't know how much you have to do to really make the practice squad other than be available.
I mean,
just don't be on somebody's roster, which I think he's going to be available. So I think he did do enough to make someone's practice squad, because I just don't think he did enough to jump into where he's going to be on someone's roster game day. I don't know. I don't see it. I know they've got the new QB, I think, thing that they're trying to institute this season, and maybe that's the only reason why he gets on the sideline. But yeah, I haven't seen. I'm getting the looks of almost Ben DiNucci. He's not as bad as Ben DiNucci, because at least he sees where he's throwing the ball. But he's just not making plays. And the thing is early on in the game, you still got some starters in there when he's coming in, not as much. You got second and third guys in there, but it's not really that the game is too fast. He's just not making the plays. I mean, guys are open, and he just, for a guy that's been in the league as long as he's been in, I know it's only been about maybe 3-4 seasons or so, but things should start to slow down for him, you think, at some point, even though he hasn't been a starter. I don't know. I just think I would start to see some sort of progression out of him, that, hey, this guy's maybe got something. And other than just looking like he looks like a QB, as far as how he's just built, I just don't see it through his play.
The reality, I mean, I hear you. I think the reality of the situation is every team has a Will Grier already on the roster. You know what I mean? A guy who's been on the team. He knows the system. He knows the facility. He knows the routines. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna get cut. But yeah, right. Who's gonna claim him? Because every other team has a Will Grier and is comfortable with their guy already. You know what I mean? That's why
you're right. Look at it.
That's why he'll be back. You know what I mean? He's not. There's not another practice squad guy that's a humongous upgrade over Will Grier. You know what I mean? Because there's a million Will Griers already out there. I just feel like, I'm not too worried about it. I just, comes down to Will. If it comes down to a point where Will Grier is starting games for us, then the season's already screwed.
That's pretty true.
Yeah.
I do have an observation question about the preseason game against Seattle. They mentioned the first series, the Seattle Seahawks were on defense. They said a name that I've heard before. Well, just because he's the king of pop, and he's actually been on the Dallas Cowboys at one time. Michael Jackson, starting corner for the Seattle Seahawks. Former Cowboy. My question is, what has made him good enough to be a starter on the Seahawks versus when he was trying to get on our team with the Cowboys? Was this last season or the season before? Because we've had players like this before over the years, right? Where they'd be on our team, and all of a sudden they pop up on another team, they're starting. So any reason how that could happen? Is it something that other teams are seeing that we're not seeing? What do you think, Ron?
Timing. If I just got to say, just timing. If anything, just coming into a team at the time, I think when he was on our team, was that like 2019, I believe it was.
Yeah, I could have swore he had some picks with us too in preseason.
So I mean, Dan Quinn got with us in like 2021, correct? So it was just
he was the 5th round pick of 2019. So this was a Marinelli pick.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the problem. These guys that they just came in at the time where we just weren't ready for them to be there. We didn't have the staff to really develop these guys, and they go to another team that has a staff that can. I mean, you go to Seattle, they're built like pretty much, even though Dan Quinn and those guys are gone, they still have that same system in place that they once had with the Legion, boom. They even though they don't have the coaching staff, they still have that kind of mentality, that system or whatever that allows for those type of guys to come in. I mean, like the Ravens, for instance, all the way back to Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, it's like the Ravens seem to somehow continue to have defense. The Steelers, teams somehow, no matter change out personnel, they still somehow have a defense. And I think some of these guys, they go to these teams because I think we had a guy a couple of seasons ago that went to the Chiefs and ended up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's the right system. You just get to the right system and under the right coach.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why he didn't play for us. He was a 5th-round pick, right? And I'm looking at it right now. You know who starting cornerbacks for us that year? Byron Jones, Chido Awuzie. We had Anthony Brown. We had Jordan Lewis. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't beating out those guys. You know what I mean? So he was a 5th-round pick, and he was expendable. You know what I mean?
He probably never got a shot. But I could have sworn he had a pick or something, or he did something.
I don't remember.
Or maybe, but then again, maybe it was just his damn name because it's Michael Jackson. Hell, I don't know.
That could be it.
Michael Jackson moonwalking in our football stadium. I'll take it. I mean, you never know. But anyways, again, this is the Star Chronicles Dallas Cowboys football podcast. We enjoy talking Cowboy football. We're just some fans. This is a fan program made by fans. Just talking about the team. We're not talking about hot sports opinions. Well, we do have. Let me take that back. We do have our own opinions about things, but we're not talking about things outside the realm of reality.
Exactly.
With the real world stuff. We're not dealing with Madden transactions.
Mm-hmm.
We're not dealing with any of that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys do have questions, don't hesitate to go ahead and send us an email at tsc.dallascowboypodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's tsc.dallascowboypodcast@gmail.com. And we do have a poll question this week that you can actually get yourself involved with on the Spotify feed if you happen to listen to this podcast on Spotify. And the question this week is it important to get a win in preseason? Just yes or no? I mean, is it important to you to get a win in preseason? Now, I actually like to give this question off to Kyle first.
No, it's not. I mean, the Ravens just had their historic 24 win streak snap. Like, who cares? Who cares? Not important. Evaluation is important. That's it. Evaluate the players. That's it. The score is irrelevant. So.
Yep, and I'm sure Mr. Starstruck is on the same wavelength about that. What do you think?
I would have to say it is not important. As a matter of fact, if I serve, my mind serves itself. You've had teams that have went winless in the preseason and actually reached Super Bowls.
That used to be the inside the NFL. Remember on HBO, they'd be like, the last time the Cowboys lost all their preseason games, they went to the Super Bowl.
I got that beat. The Detroit Lions that one year went 4-0 in preseason and then went 0-16 in the regular season. I mean, come on, that's what I'm saying. There's no correlation to this, none whatsoever. They went 0-16 after going 4-0 in the preseason.
What are
do we remember who that coach was, by the way? Do you guys want to remember who that coach was? Who was head coach of that Detroit Lions team?
Rod Marinelli.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A proud member of the Jason Garrett coaching staff. Yes.
Yeah, the coaching tree.
Yes.
Okay, well, we got one more preseason game coming up against the Raiders. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here on Saturday.
Yeah, back to
any expectations of this game? Typically, is a dress rehearsal for most teams in the NFL, excluding the Cowboys, because we have to do everything different. What's your expectations? Or what more would you like to see?
Can I go first? I'll make it simple. I want to see the kicker. I want to see him kick field goals. They didn't attempt a single field goal this last game. Come on. I just want to see the kicker. I know it's so lame, but we got to see it. We have to see it. There was a fourth down play. It's like, dude, he's going for it in fourth down at the 35. I want to see the kicker try that. No, I don't want to see 4th and 7. You know what I mean? Just kick the damn ball.
Season. Yeah. So what? Kick it from 50-something yards.
Exactly. And that's like I don't need to see what Will Grier does on 4th down and 7. You know what I mean? He's not going to play. I want to see what the kicker is going to do on kicking from the left hash on a 47-yard field goal. You know what I mean?
You guys are giving kickers way too much credit. I want to see a 35. I want to see a 35-yard kick. I want to see anything between 32 and 40 consistently to make me all right.
I want to see them go for the field goal kick on 3rd down in case there's a bad snap. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Yes. I don't care. I just want to see. I got to see the execution. You know what I mean? The long snapper, the holding. I got to see it. We haven't seen it. We've seen it one field goal kick so far this preseason.
It's like they're protecting him.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. I mean,
what?
Exactly. I mean, who the hell knows?
See how some of the fan base is right now.
We don't want to look for another kicker. We don't want to have that on our priority list.
Jesus.
I just don't want to go into week 1 having a guy off the streets who we have not seen. He's not someone who hasn't even been in camp with us. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
His most recent picture is him with a Home Depot smock.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's I just want to see a clean game overall. I just wanted to see like the many penalties limited as possible.
Yeah.
Mozzie did not have a greatest game as he did the week before. The one thing I will say, when he got turned he got turned around a little bit on one play. Yeah. I will say the very next play, he was involved in the next tackle and stuff, which I think is a good thing. So he didn't hold his head on that one play.
Mm-hmm.
So those like the little things I look on players and stuff. It's kind of like you make a mistake, you go on to the next play.
Bounce back, yep.
You don't just sit there and just drag your brain on that last play. So it's like the little things I like to look for. What's other things you guys are looking at besides kicking?
Will Grier playing the whole entire game, because I mean, what does it matter? You don't really need to see Cooper Rush. You don't need to see Dak play one series. What is that going to just put Will Grier out there, because I don't think there's anybody else behind him. So just let him go out there and just play all 4 quarters. See what he does.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would like to see. I wish we could just do one series with Dak and our cast and stuff. I mean, I understand the aspect of the injury thing, but still, come on, man. It's just, 10 days from that, you're going to be in a regular season game and stuff. So whatever injury you're going to have, if you got injured in the first game, you're probably going to end up missing the second game too. So, you're going to miss a game either kind of way when you look at it. Or some games, I would just like to see a series,
No, sir.
I hear you, but I'd be so damn. Hey, Overstone got hurt in the 7th snap. He got hurt,
and it didn't really look like much of anything went wrong. Neither did it. All of a sudden, he just kind of like barreled back down. I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah. Right tackle Matt Walesko hurt his shoulder, a shoulder subluxation, just blocking. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need Terrence Steele hurting his shoulder a week before the Giants game. I hear you. I totally do. I want to see it too, but I mean, is if they go 3 and out, does that really make a difference for anything? You know what I mean? Like, I don't,
Or
no, you're right.
Yeah.
You are right.
No, I totally agree with you, but I just this season there are so many high hopes riding this season. I can't have that go down the tubes on the last preseason game. You know what I mean? I can't right now. I need everyone healthy.
I get it. It's just
and I get your point of view too. I know. I get your point of view too. Yeah.
It's just I'm just accustomed to seeing at least one something.
I know.
These last few preseasons have been pretty damn. Last few seasons of preseason games has just been lame as hell.
Yeah.
Because I guess the only way we're going to know is when this team got their stuff together. If they truly got their stuff together, is that when they come in that first week, they're going to look like they've been playing football for a while. Mm-hmm. They're going to take them a half to get their stuff together. Me and I don't know if Ron, if you're still planning to go down to Frisco to see any practice.
Yeah, I don't know. This was probably my only good free night.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they only have, I think, Wednesday and then Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, and my thing is that we've had experiences going to those practices before. And like I've told Ron before, I feel like it's like Rocky 3. their practices. Rocky got the people dancing, and it's more of a show than it is. It's just like literally just like more of a show than it is like any damn thing. It's like the only person getting ticked off is Mickey because it's like, you gotta sit there and you gotta fight, Rock. Oh, don't worry, it's just the fans. I gotta dance with the fans. And he gets knocked on his ass. I mean, I just want football season here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Long enough wait. We're almost here.
Almost, man. September 10th.
Yes, we're almost there. So, any final thoughts for the people tonight, Kyle?
Man, we just summed it up, man. We're so close. Just get out of this game with hopefully, as least amount of injuries as possible. That's all. I just want health. Come out of this game healthy, because that's all I need. Come out of this game healthy. That's all I care about. I don't care about the score. Come out of this game healthy.
Nope. Actually, I like that even better. How about you, Ron? Any final words to the people or thoughts about this week's game?
Yeah, just getting through the game pretty much healthy is not really going to prove much from whether we win or lose. We just need to go out there and execute, see what we have as far as on depth, because I think we're going to, just like with every season, we're going to have to see some of those guys on the field at some point. So we need to see who we have and what they can do when they get out there, no matter who they're matched up against. So let's see what we've got.
Yep, I agree. I mean, it's just like I said. I mean, it's always cool, like analyzing the X's and O's and just sitting back, kind of like watching like the smaller things, the obscure things that a lot of people, like the mass quantity of people don't really pay attention to. But then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, damn it, I'm ready for some real football here. Mm-hmm. But I also like to send a shout out actually for one of the Cowboy groups on my Facebook page. It's called For the Love of the Game. One of the admins her name's Paula. And she's been listening to the podcast as well, so I'd like to give her a shout out. And go ahead and if you check out her page and stuff. Got a lot of good stuff on there. Make sure you guys come out, swing by, and check us out as well. Star Chronicles. And that's really all I got. I just wish everybody a positive week, and everything just works out for you. But for myself, Ron, and Kyle, we'll see you here next time. The Star Chronicles Dallas Cowboys podcast. Go Cowboys.